The strongest hiring advantage right now is not a flashy posting. It's a clean, respectful process that makes a qualified candidate feel like you know what you're doing. Want to learn more? Let's jump in. Hello and welcome to the July edition of HR Hot Topics. I'm your host, Jodi Schafer, and I aim to make this the most informative 5-ish minutes of your month. It's going to be 10. It's probably going to be 13. I don't know how long it's going to be this month, but we're talking about hiring, strategic hiring. We are doing a lot of hiring right now. All of our consultants on our team have at least one open position, and some of us have more than one. So I don't know what's in the air right now, but hiring seems to be the flavor of the month. And hiring can be a really time-intensive process, as you all know. And for that reason, many of our clients tap us to come alongside and at least manage the front-end part of the process, where we help them create a really compelling job posting, and we manage all of the applicant resumes that come through. We do the initial screening interviews, etc. But it's not rocket science, it's just time-consuming. So if you've got the time, it's absolutely something that any of you can do. But what I notice is that not every process is equal. We don't all do it well. And so from somebody who's done a lot of this, I thought I would take this month's episode and really dive into what strategic hiring looks like. What are the steps, and what are some things that can help you out along the way? So my first piece of advice is you have to know the landscape in which you're competing. So this is being filmed here in Michigan. In Michigan, our unemployment rate was north of 5% as of May of this year. So that might lead you to believe that we have a lot of people that are out of work and looking for a job. But that's not necessarily the case, because you also have to look at the labor participation rate. And if you've been following any of our episodes for any number of years, you'll know that labor participation rate varies by state, and it measures the number of available civilian workforce within a population. The closer to 100%, the better off you are. In Michigan, we've been historically low. Not the lowest, but we're not telling a great story here in our state. And from a numbers perspective, for a state of about 10 million people, as of December of last year, we had about 5 million in our civilian workforce. But as of this year, we've got 4.93. Just that was the last number grab there. So it's going in the wrong direction, which means in our state, it's really competitive to try to find people, to find good people, to find skilled people. And so I think we need to know that as employers, because that really sets the tone for how we're going to approach the search. So the first thing after you sort of know your landscape is think about the job at hand. If this is a position that has existed within your organization for a number of years and now it is vacant again, there's a temptation to just pull out the old job description, dust it off, and repost it. But I bet a lot's changed between today and 3 years ago or 4 years ago when this job was last vacant. And so anytime you have an opportunity to hire, you also have an opportunity to strategically vet what it is you think you need. And maybe the role needs to change slightly from how it used to be done. Maybe you've learned some things along the way. Maybe technology has augmented how the job's going to be performed. So really strategically evaluate the job and make sure that you define it in a way that matches reality. Don't sell somebody a bill of goods only to have them arrive and find out the job is nothing like you said it was going to be, and then they leave, right? What a costly venture that is. So be realistic in what the job is and price it accordingly. Again, back to the idea of know your landscape. There are many tools on the market, many of them free, to get your hands on salary data so you can see what the competitive rate is in the market in which you're competing. Even within the state of Michigan, rates for a job in Southeast Michigan do not match rates on the west side of Michigan, and certainly are very different from rates in northern Michigan. So you want to make sure that your salary data that you're pulling, to the extent possible, is focused on your industry, organizations of your size, and in a similar geographic location. Indeed has a free tool on their site. They run an algorithm and they pull the all of the posted jobs for similar job titles within your region, and they tell you what the starting pay is in those postings. So lots of tools out there, but just make sure you price the job accordingly. And when you post the position, make sure you post the pay range. Don't try to keep that a secret. More and more candidates are unwilling to apply for jobs that don't have pay data listed in them. They don't want to waste their time, and you don't want to waste yours going after somebody that you can't afford, perhaps. So if you have a range, make sure that you post the range, even though in Michigan it's not required. From a candidate perspective, right, it's still something that they're looking for, so why not? When it comes to the posting itself, this is where AI can be a real friend for you. You can feed a job description, or if you don't have a job description, just some essential functions of the job and a little bit about your environment into AI, and you can say, create a compelling candidate-centered posting that uses warm, friendly language and highlights these things about our organization, and make sure it's no more than X number of words in length, and see what it comes up with. And I think you'll be pretty surprised, actually. So we use AI a lot for those postings, and then we tweak them. I mean, the human element is important, but it's always good to sort of get that salesy kind of markety slant to your posting, because remember, it's a competitive market out there. When it comes to posting, post far and post wide. Yes, it might mean that more responses come in. Yes, it might mean that you spend a little bit more time screening those applicants. But remember, at least in Michigan, our candidate pool seems to be shrinking. So you need to put every hook available to you in the water. There are some paid sites. There are sites where you can post for free, but then if you want people to actually see the posting, you have to boost it, which means a financial investment. Indeed is a site like that, ZipRecruiter. If it's a more professional position that requires some years of schooling beyond high school, maybe LinkedIn is a good resource for you. But don't overlook just general social media. If you have an Instagram account, if you have a Facebook account, put it on there. You never know who in your network might know somebody that would be a great fit for you. And a lot of those accounts have groups of similarly situated individuals or folks with like interests. For example, our local high school has a group on Facebook. Well, if I was hiring for a position that was part-time or maybe from 8 to 3 every day and kind of corresponded with the school hours and might be a really great fit for a parent that had school-age children, maybe I should post it not just on my own Facebook page, but also on my high school's Facebook page, if they would allow for that. And often you can just send a message to the group admin and ask. Make sure that you tell your friends, make sure you tell your pickleball buddies, make sure you tell your church folks. I mean, tell everybody you know that you have an open position. If you work for an association, make sure all of your board members know. Make sure they're pushing it out through their networks, and make sure your current staff know. Maybe you even incentivize folks to give referrals to you of qualified applicants. Give them a little money, give them an extra day off, something like that. You want to post far and wide. Once you put the posting out there, this is the part that I think separates the mediocre experience from an excellent experience. And that has everything to do with the timeliness and the consistency of your communication. Now, some applicant platforms like Indeed, for example, you can set up automatic notifications to go to candidates. So as soon as they apply for your job, the system automatically sends a customized acknowledgement that they received or that we received your application. That's a great first step, letting folks know that we got your resume. And then for individuals that you're going to phone screen, making sure you're following up with those folks. And the individuals that just don't make that first cut, making sure they know that too. And certainly if you're spending any time at all with a candidate, whether it's on a screening interview, an in-person interview, some back and forth about pay expectations, schedule expectations, etc., close the loop with those candidates always. Are they moving forward? If so, when can they expect to hear something? If they're not moving forward, why? If the position got put on hold because the process got delayed, let them know that. The worst thing that you can do is leave a candidate hanging. And remember, it's a competitive job market. So while you're leaving them hanging, they might have other employers that are actively reaching out. And by the time you finally follow back up, they're no longer available. So the timeliness of this becomes really important, and the consistency of your screening process, making sure that you're asking the same types of questions to every applicant, making sure that it feels professional, that it feels personalized, that it feels like you really want them or are interested in them. It's all about first impressions, and I see a lot of employers kind of botch this stage, not intentionally, but because they're trying to juggle it with their actual day job, and time just gets away from them. So that's an important piece. When you decide that you have found somebody that you like and you're going to make the offer, I would recommend that you create an offer letter. So it's fine if you want to pick up the phone and you want to make the offer verbally. You can kind of get a sense for how interested they are, and maybe even they want to negotiate a couple of the the benefits or the pay or the hours or something like that. So you can allow for some back and forth verbally. But once you finalize the offer, it really should be put in writing. And it should include things like rate of pay, job title, whether it's hourly or salary, their work hours, any benefits, including time off. And in Michigan, the earned sick time has to be part of that too. First day that you would expect them to report, and the fact that you're an at-will employer, if that is in fact the case, and then how long they have to decide whether or not they want to accept the position. So there's usually kind of a sunset piece on those offer letters, but put it in writing so you can make sure that both you and the candidate are aligned on what exactly is being promised here. And then communicate between when the offer is accepted and when they start. Because sometimes, they don't show up on day one. Like, it's the worst, but it does sometimes happen. So you want to make sure that you're touching base all the way up and through. And then one other point here, we have a 30, 60, 90-day onboarding plan on our website in the resources section, which is free. Last month's episode talked all about how to access those free resources. But onboarding is important. Hiring doesn't end on day one. That's when it starts, okay? Actually getting them up to speed in the job and connected to the team, that's onboarding. That's a longer process, and that's really important too. So make sure we don't skip that piece. A couple of notes for you on this topic that I just thought were timely. I said we were doing a ton of hiring this month. We were doing so much hiring that we realized we should probably have a page on our website that shows all of our candidate openings, all of our client openings. And so you'll notice when you go to workwithhrm.com now, in the upper right-hand corner, there is something that says something like job openings, or I forget exactly what it says, but it's in a yellow box so you can see it. If you click on that, you will see an updated list of all of the openings that the HRM team is currently helping clients to fill. So if any of you are interested, you can always look there, find out more information. And then, of course, for any clients that we're helping to hire, it's one more place that we'll post your position, and then you can take advantage of our network and our reach and see if we can find that right fit for you. And then the other thing that I wanted to remind you all of is we have 2 upcoming in-person trainings happening, one in September, one in October. The one in September, and I'm just going to look at my notes so I don't get it wrong here, Mastering Emotional Intelligence at Work. What's exciting about this one, it's on September 16th, is that it's just a half day, so 9 to 12:30. So you're not out of the office the whole day, but emotional intelligence is so crucial to success at work. You want to talk about soft skills, right? This emotional intelligence piece is not soft, it's not easy, but it's crucial. And so if you or anyone on your team would like to learn more about that, you can join us for that half-day session on the 16th. And then we also are doing the HR 101, Practical HR Knowledge for Non-HR Folks, in October 21st. That is a full day. We ran that last year for the first time, and folks loved it. So we're running it again this year. Okay, with that, I'll leave you. If you have any questions on the topic of hiring, if you think HRM could be a partner for you and you want some help with that, or anything else I've shared today, you can reach me directly, Jodi Schafer at workwithhrm.com.